Hello. Hello, is it me you're looking for? How are we all? Good? Having a good night so far? Oh, that's good. My name is Stephen Oliver, and I will be your MC this evening. Stop it, you're gonna make a black fella go red. Yes, I think MC stands for Masters of Ceremony, but I like to say Murray Compare. I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, the Turrbal and Jagera people, and pay my respects to elders past and present. I would also like to acknowledge the Honorary Leanne Enoch, Minister for Innovation, Science and the Digital Economy and Minister for Small Business, or as I like to call her, Minister for Biggest Mob Political Affairs. Kirsten Herring, Deputy Director General, Arts Queensland, Professor Andrew Griffiths, Chair, Library Board of Queensland, Vicky McDonald, State Librarian and CEO, State Library of Queensland, writers, judges and sponsors, including the University of Queensland, University of Southern Queensland, Griffith University, Queensland University of Technology, the Courier Mail and the Copyright Agency Limited. All of our wonderful shortlisted authors and publishers, and of course you, distinguished guests and fine-looking people. To begin proceedings, it is my pleasure to invite songwoman Maruchi Baramba of the Turrbal people to perform a traditional welcome to country. Please welcome Maruchi.
Australian Abayugari Murmaka Da Palma Ikiperdangaleyu Biginumba Ikita Millen Murmba Bulkairi Yadeni Australia Boo Tago Nurunale Ikiowa Yadeni Australia Balandico Gundulnumbuler Balandico Gundulnumbuler Yang Indai Yango Gundai Yango Balandico Gundulnumbuler Balandico Gundulnumbule Bulkairi Marumba Kurilpanu. That's welcome to this part of Brisbane in the language of the Turrbal people, in accordance with the customs of the collective of tribes of southeastern Queensland. When we do our welcome to country, that is done as a blessing of the gathering and a song, and I shall do that immediately. Oh, firstly, I might pinch a second or two just to extend our appreciation to the organisers here today for asking us to be here, and just would like to acknowledge the dignitaries as well as all other fellow Australians in the room. Garinyanami, Garinyanami, Jujumobironu, Garinyanami, Jujumobironu.
Thank you, Ani Maritu. I was asked to give some opening remarks about the Literary Awards tonight, which I thought was very dangerous because we could be here till 11. But I'll try and be quick. But earlier this year, I was asked if I could be the keynote speaker at the New South Wales Indigenous Teachers Conference, or as I like to call keynotes, big notes, because I did big note myself. But I thought about when I was in high school, and so I wrote it around that, and I was saying that when I was in high school, I was always going to be Stephen Oliver the dancer, because I'm a pretty deadly dancer. But yeah, that's the one thing I was always known as. And it was funny because I'd always written, ever since I could remember. But no one ever told me that I could be Stephen Oliver, the writer. And you know, it wasn't until about 3 years ago I actually started calling myself a writer. I'd found I didn't have the right to call myself the writer, because I thought it had to be something to be earned. I had to achieve certain things before I could do that. And you know, it was happening when things, you know, got published, or I wrote, you know, for Black Comedy, or even when my poems were getting shared around the world. And it kind of took that, but I also thought it was because the thing of no one told me I could be a writer. And that's why it's awesome for me tonight as an Aboriginal man to be emceeing, but to also see, you know, the Minister for Biggest Mob Political Affairs, Anita Heiss, Melissa Lukashenko, you know, and other mob here. 'Cause I think it does send that message that we can be writers, because when I thought about it, when I looked at one of my poems that, you know, NITV put it up last year, and it stands at, here's big note, but it stands at like 2 million views. And I thought about that. I thought about my writing, and I realized, you know, the first book of poetry I ever owned was by Audrey Noonuckle. Sorry. And I realized that I did have someone tell me I could be a writer. And, you know, that's why it's important for Indigenous voices to tell Indigenous stories. Just as it's important for Queenslanders to tell Queensland stories, Australians to tell Australian stories. And I just wanted to make note of that here with all you fine people tonight, so thank you. So now we begin the award presentations with the Queensland Premier's Award for work of state significance. On behalf of the Premier and Minister for the Arts, Anastasia Palaszczuk, I welcome to the stage the Honourable Leanne Enoch. I'm all shook up now. I'm getting shame with you. The Minister for Innovation, Science and the Digital Economy and Minister for Small Business to present the award.
Well, thank you, my brother. It's nice to hear you talk about me being Minister for Biggest Mob Political Affairs. Usually I get called Minister Cuz, so, but happy to be here tonight as the Minister for Innovation, Science and the Digital Economy, and a Minister for Small Business, representing the Premier of this great state. Let me, of course, begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we gather, and in doing so, may I acknowledge the more than 3,000 generations of Turrbal people and Yagara people who have maintained cultural practices on this country, and can I acknowledge all of our elders, from wherever you come from, whatever your culture, those that are past and those still with us, guiding us into the future. Can I, of course, acknowledge Mr. Andrew Griffiths, the Chairperson of the Library Board of Queensland, Kirsten Herring, the Deputy Director General of Arts Queensland, Vicky McDonald, our great State Librarian and CEO of the State Library of Queensland, the authors, judges and sponsors who make these awards possible, including the University of Queensland, Griffith University, the University of Southern Queensland, QUT, the Copyright Agency's Cultural Fund and the Courier Mail. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a lot of people. Biggest mob. You know, I have got this great speech, but I think I'm going to stop, and I have to refer back to it because there's actual things I have to say, but otherwise I'll be in trouble and I will ruin the whole night. Like, you know, saying who's won awards, that's pretty important. But, you know, Stephen, you've just inspired me to share something myself. many of you know this already. I'm a Nunukal Nugi woman of the Quandamooka Nation, which takes in the waters and islands of Moreton Bay, originally from beautiful North Stradbroke Island. We call it Minjirrabah in my language. Also in my language, when we say hello or greetings, we say yura or yura yura, many greetings. So yura yura to all of you. You can say that back if you wish. Yeah. Look, this is my third time at the Queensland State Literary Awards, and I think every time I've stuck to the script. But tonight I want to tell you a bit of a story from where I come from. So I get this chance to go home every now and again, not as much as I like, mostly for funerals, unfortunately. But if you've ever made that trip across the water to North Stradbroke Island, to Minjirrabah, you will know this story. There's days when it is absolutely crystal clear. It is as smooth as glass. And sometimes when you're in that water taxi or on the barge, it is like you are cutting through liquid glass. That's how beautiful it is. So quite often I'd go with my children and I tell the stories that I heard from my father, who's my Aboriginal parent. And when you're going out to North Stradbroke Island, there's all of these physical sort of beacons or markers along the way that guide you in terms of where you're going to go, to make sure that you don't end up on sandbars and that you get to the destination that you want to get to safely, to navigate the waters, if you like. My dad always talked about how those beacons or markers were also there without the actual physical things, that you could tell by other things, like the way that a bird was flying or a particular way that a plant was flowering at a particular season, and they would be your markers or beacons to travel that way. And it strikes me when, for me, this third time of being able to be here, that for many of the winners tonight, and the people who have been supporting them, including the universities, the Courier Mail, the others who took up the mantle when these awards were abolished, you are all the markers and beacons for others. So as they navigate, as our young writers, as our creatives in this state navigate the waters of what it is to publish your works, I look at Anita and I know it is not an easy course to take. But all of you have been incredible beacons and markers for those that are coming after you, and those who've been before you, I'm sure, but those who are coming after you. And so really for me, as a government, I'm incredibly proud to see this Queensland government and the Palaszczuk government being one of those beacons and markers as well, to be able to say, here's the course to take, so that as you see success, our state will be able to tell its story in a way that benefits everybody. So tonight, and this is where I have to say the official stuff, tonight we recognise how vital our local literary artists are, and of course the value of telling unique stories. And whether that be stories of nature and its application in our everyday lives, or the story of people in various circumstances from right across our country. So because of that, that's why this government reinstated the Queensland Literary Awards in 2015. We introduced new categories and a match funding initiative to support the award's 13 prizes. And I'm delighted to announce tonight that the Palaszczuk government has reasserted its commitment to the awards. That's why we also support 3 Queensland Writers' Fellowships, providing authors with the important opportunity to develop their manuscripts and writing projects toward publication. These fellowships enable authors to focus on their craft and shape their storytelling by granting developmental time and assistance from the Queensland Writers' Centre. This type of support elevates the quality of writing produced here in Queensland. And the Queensland Government is also pleased to contribute to the Griffith Review Queensland Writing Fellowships, and I'm personally looking forward to seeing the 8 commissioned Queensland works reaching a national and international audience. As the Minister for all them deadly different things, you know, I share the Premier's ongoing commitment to supporting evolving pathways within the publishing landscape. And it's exciting to this year see the introduction of the QUT Digital Literature Award as part of the Queensland Literary Awards. Digital media, yeah, who was that? Digital media has given rise to new ways of telling stories and devices through which readers can explore and fall in love with literature. And this new award is a significant way to highlight the importance of innovation in publishing. It's wonderful, of course, to be here at the State Library. We were just saying earlier, what is there not to love about the State Library? It is the most amazing place to be able to call home in terms of Queenslanders, to be able to call home for so many stories about Queensland. The State Library leads the way in nurturing a reading culture in Queensland, something that's fundamental to a creative community. So what better place to celebrate exceptional storytelling than here? And now I'd like to present the first award for tonight, the Queensland Premier's Award for a work of state significance. This award recognises writing with a Queensland focus and celebrates important Queensland stories, history and voices. I'm pleased to announce that the winner for the $25,000 Queensland Premier's Award for a work of state significance is Bill Wilkie for the Daintree Blockade. Bill spent 8 years creating this book, the Daintree Blockade, the Battle for Australia's Tropical Rainforests, which documents one of the most significant environmental protests in Queensland history. The Daintree Blockade centres on the early 1980s campaign against the bulldozing of road through the Cape Tribulation National Park. While the protests were ultimately unsuccessful, they did lead to the region's World Heritage listing in 1988. The judges praised Bill's work as a beautifully produced and immensely readable account of the politics and practice of environmental activism, a publication that is strongly enhanced by its rich illustrations. Congratulations, Bill, on receiving this award.
I feel a little bit like I've crashed a party and any moment somebody's about to ask me to leave, but here we go. Minister, thank you, and to the Premier and the State Government for your ongoing support for writing in Queensland and your generous sponsorship of this award, which recognises books of special significance to Queensland and fosters interest in our unique stories and voices. Congratulations to the other shortlisted authors and winners tonight. Minister, I know this is called an award, but I hope you can also think of it as an investment in our culture and heritage. The money that I receive will help me create another non-fiction book, also set in North Queensland, so thank you. I'm not 100% sure that I am the most worthy recipient on this list. I do, however, suspect, after looking at the publishing histories, the biographies and the previous awards won by the other shortlisted writers, that I'm probably the most needy. So I'm really grateful that the judges have deemed my book the winner in this category. I don't need to bang on about the Daintree Blockade like I normally do, because the Minister has kindly done that job tonight. But I would like to add that, as well as the World Heritage listing, the Daintree Rainforest protest and the people who led that campaign changed the way that Queenslanders perceive and interact with their natural environment, and that's a remarkable achievement. Thank you to all the people who shared your stories and fought to protect our rainforests. Your efforts will be remembered for a long time to come. Thank you to all the people in far north Queensland who have supported this project. Thanks to Drew McGovern from Punchbowl Designs for designing a beautiful book, and to Jennifer Allen who edited the Daintree Blockade. Thanks to Mum and Dad, my brother Ian, and sisters Jane and Gail for supporting me over many years. And thanks to Louise, Thea and Edie, who hopefully are watching at home on the live stream. It's fitting that a book about the environment wins this award when there are so many pressing conservation issues facing the state today. But if me standing here right now says anything, it's to the many unpublished and emerging writers around the state, young and old. Finish that manuscript, publish your book, and you never know. One day it might be you up here, not just crashing the party, but taking off with some of the loot. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations, Bill. I was just thinking when he spoke about being the most needy, I might have been at the NAIDOC Awards, and I was talking to the person who won Young Person of the Year. And I said, did you win any money as the Young Person of the Year? She's like, yeah, no, I got an envelope, and I thought I did, but when I opened it up, it just said congratulations on being there. But she said, no, I think the person who gets it is the NAIDOC Person of the Year, and which happened to be Patty Mills, who just finished signing a multi-million-dollar contract. Yeah, the basketball player. Okay, our next award, speaking of young people, is the Queensland's Premier's Young Publishers and Writers Award. 2 awards are offered in this category, but congratulations to all the finalists. And Minister Enoch will now announce the winner.
Oh, her again. Okay. Thank you. The winners of the 2 Queensland Premier's Young Publishers and Writers Awards for writers aged 18 to 30, each to the value of $12,500, are Lek Blaine and Mindy Gill. So Lek's first book, Car Crash, a memoir, is forthcoming through Scribe. The judges remarked on Lek's adventurous and morally profound writing, which offers a unique perspective and is delivered by a gravity beyond his years. And Mindy is an accomplished poet and currently editor-in-chief of Peril magazine. The judges applauded Mindy's great knowledge of fine talent for the formal devices of poetry and for the moral concerns of modern life. They said it was the pure aesthetic accomplishments of her poetry that made her such an irresistible winner for this award. The prize, which includes a $10,000 cash component and career development support valued at $2,500 from Queensland Writers Centre, will support and foster the next generation of Queensland writers. Congratulations, Lek and Mindy.
Where do I start? It's a mind-blowing honour to be standing here tonight. All the other writers on the shortlist had absolutely exceptional credentials. Congratulations to my fellow winner Mindy, and I would also like to thank the judges for having faith in me. A writing career doesn't happen by accident. It takes the cooperation of so many editors, publishers and readers. In particular, Aviva Tuffield at Black Ink has given me unlimited encouragement. John Tague and the team at the Griffith Review has also provided me with tremendous support over the previous 6 months. Tonight I don't have time to thank all the individuals who have helped me, but the one person I can't leave unmentioned is my mother. Mum is the reason that I'm a writer. Her love of language didn't have a conventional genesis. She was the eldest daughter of a disabled war veteran. She was raised on a council estate. Despite being a straight-A student, she was forced to leave school at 14 to support her family. So this bright high school dropout from the country earned the minimum wage at Big W while burning through a book a day from the local library. Nothing made her feel more at peace than reading or writing a sentence that made perfect sense. I grew up hearing her read other people's perfect sentences to me. I watched her write down arguments instead of shouting them. And slowly but certainly I was converted to a life of reading and writing the same way that she had been, which was unlikely. I came from an extremely macho culture. Men were allergic to sensitivity. Literature has given me the imagination to engage with the world in a more vivid and vulnerable way. On that note, I applaud the Palaszczuk government and the State Library for their unwavering support of Queensland literature. I simply cannot articulate how great it feels to live in a state that takes me seriously.
Congratulations, Lek. So for the last year, I've been working around 45 hours per week as a freelance copywriter. I worked for 3 digital agencies writing about how small to medium enterprises can optimize their companies for search engines. I also worked for an online retail company writing around 200 product descriptions per week, where my employer insisted that each product, and I mean each product, must include the keywords vintage, bohemian, unique, and my 2 personal favorites, tribal and exotic. For this, I earned $17 an hour and was refused overtime payment if I worked more than the agreed 8 hours per week. When I finally said I would be quitting, I was subsequently offered a raise of $18.15 per hour. You know, I'm a poet, and I understand that one letter separates the words poetry and poverty, but even this was a bit much. Beyond the honor and the affirmation, what winning this prize means to me is that for the rest of the year and well into the next, I can focus and dedicate my days to reading and writing poetry, to beginning my 2nd collection, and to making Peril the best publication I can possibly make it be. For this, I'd like to thank from the bottom of my heart the Queensland Literary Awards for facilitating this prize I've won today and for continually supporting writers in all stages of their careers. I'd like to sincerely thank the judges, Patrick Holland, Karen Foxley, and Sue Wright, for trusting me and my work, and I hope I will honor the distinction and responsibility of this prize. Thank you all very much, and congratulations to my fellow shortlistees and award winners of the night.
Congratulations, Lek and Mindy. So when I heard those names together, Lek and Mindy, it reminded me of that show, Mork and Mindy. Thought trust young people to remind me of my age. Mindy also reminded me I was tribal and exotic. The next award is the Griffith Review Queensland Writing Fellowships. And I've now decided she is the Minister for announcing Biggest Mob Awards. I'd like to welcome back Minister Enoch.
I feel like I'm turning into a stage hog, so just rip me off it.
Chair for you.
Okay. I'd also like to congratulate the 8 recipients of the 2017 Griffith Review Queensland Writing Fellowships. These fellowships will enable these writers to further develop a work already in progress, with the goal to have their completed work published in the Griffith Review next year. Please join me in congratulating the 2017 fellows: Ashley Hay, Mirandi Riho, Andrea Baldwin, Victoria Carlis, Anne Richards, Matthew Engert, Jill Barker, and Rosie Funder.
How do you get Shane? Congratulations to all the winners of the Premier's Award categories and the Griffith Review Fellowships. The next award is the Queensland Writers Fellowships. These are supported by Arts Queensland and the State Library of Queensland and provide 3 Queensland authors with a $15,000 fellowship to develop new work. Professor Andrew Griffiths, Chair of the Library Board of Queensland, will now present the fellowships. Thank you, Andrew.
So it's my pleasure to present the Queensland Writer Fellowships. This year, we have 3 fellowships that are being awarded to exceptional Queensland authors. We hope that these fellowships go a long way towards advancing their careers and their opportunities. Congratulations to the 2017 recipients. The winners are Zenobia Frost, Linda Neal, Barandi Riwo. Congratulations. We've got to get the right ones.
Congratulations, guys. Thank you, Professor Griffiths. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, are you in for a treat? Our next presenter is personally one of my favorites. I think they're incredibly talented and, dare I say, sexy. Please give it up for me.
I got asked if I could share one of my poems tonight. So I think I'll share the one I wrote about Australia Day. For those of you who don't know, Facebook is a great source of inspiration. And a few years back, I'd put on Facebook that as an Australian citizen, I would like to be able to celebrate with my fellow Australians on a day, but as an Aboriginal man, there's still so many things that I think need to happen, need to be fixed. And it was amazing the response I got to it. A lot of people were like, oh, you should think that we stopped the Japanese from coming here and all this kind of stuff. But the one that stood out to me was when a guy who I'd known since primary school said to me, let go of the hate. And I was like, wow, you've known me since primary school, and you should know I'm not a hateful person. Like my grandfather, he would always say, never say hate, my boy. He said hate is too strong a word. And so I try to live by that. And so it really floored me when he said that. But anyway, the poem that I wrote that I thought I'd do for you now is called Hate, He Said. Hate, he said, was in my heart. Hate, he said, drove us apart. Hate, he said, to let it go. Hate, he said. But he did not know that what I had inside of me was a sadness born of empathy. That because I did not celebrate, it did not mean I was full of hate. I asked him to just try and see through my eyes the tragedy of dispossession, of the pain, the hurt, of the red of blood that stained this earth. I mourn for the lives that were lost. I mourn for what this country cost. I mourn for how we came to be, for the end does not justify the means. It's in the past, he said, move on. Why mourn for something so long gone? I looked at him and I came to say, well, do you think we should forget about Anzac Day? It's not the same, was his retort. I said, wait a minute, give it some thought. People died while fighting for their land, protecting it from a foreign hand. Make no mistake, there was a war that had been fought on these very shores. A war that didn't always discriminate, but that elderly or infants could meet the same fate as those who fought to protect them so, and that's why we should never let go. Never forget what price was paid for us to live as we do today. He looked at me quite seriously, said he celebrates because we're free. He celebrates our democracy and everything great in this country. I said, that's fine. I get that, that's clear. Just please don't forget how we got here. Just take a moment to think it through, what price was paid for me and you to live in this country as we do. Don't take for granted the sacrifice both of land and of life, for we need to acknowledge all who died. Not let their memories be swept aside. You got an apology, he said. It talked about loss, it mentioned the dead. What more do you want? He asked of me. And so I replied, in the hope he would see. We have a day for Australia, the Queen, for New Year's and Christmas and all those between, like Labour and Easter, the Anzac Parade, and just what the hell is Boxing Day? There's even a day that we have for the shows, but nothing that speaks of my people's woes. A national day to acknowledge the cause, to acknowledge all that has happened before, and I don't mean NAIDOC, I mean something more where the whole nation stops. Like it does for a horse. A day. Is that too much to ask to remind us? Don't ignore the past. He processed my words and looked at the ground. We both sat in silence. Then there was this sound. A sound that seemed like heaven to me. A sound of two words that said, I agree. We talked some more as the day came to end, and despite our differences, I'd made a new friend. He understood as the day came to night that I needed some things in this country made right, and because I did not celebrate, it did not mean I was full of hate. Thank you.
Yeah, now you know I'm not just an idiot. I would now like to invite Vicky McDonald, State Library Librarian and CEO, to present the State Library of Queensland Poetry Collection, Judith WRIGHT CALANTHE Award.
Thank you, Stephen, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I too would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet and pay respects to their ancestors who came before them. As you know, the State Library of Queensland is located on Kurilpa Point, which is a traditional meeting, gathering and sharing place for Aboriginal people, and we proudly continue that tradition here today and every day of the year. I'm also very honoured to be here for my second Queensland Literary Awards as State Librarian and CEO, and for SLQ, as Minister Enoch said, it's our third year as home for the Queensland Literary Awards. SLQ is very proud to stand by these awards, and with the dedicated support of the Queensland Government, Arts Queensland and our category sponsors and partners, the awards will continue to advance Queensland and Australian stories. Queensland has a very rich history of writing, and the Queensland Literary Awards helps to grow knowledge, innovation and enterprise in our state. Through this awards program, we will continue to promote and celebrate exciting new Australian writing and provide much needed funding to support emerging and established writers. And we've already heard this evening the impact that this funding has for the recipients as well. The QLAs wouldn't be possible without the passionate support of Queensland's vibrant literary communities, and we especially thank the leadership and expertise shown by the Queensland Literary Awards Reference Group and the 42 Queensland Literary Award judges. Tonight, it's my pleasure to present the winner of the State Library of Queensland Poetry Collection, Judith WRIGHT CALANTHE Award. Presented to an author in an outstanding poetry collection, this award is named after the famous Queensland poet Judith WRIGHT. In addition to her outstanding contribution to Australia's poetic heritage, Judith WRIGHT is best remembered for her passionate commitment to environmental and Indigenous issues. But firstly, congratulations to all the shortlisted poets in this category. And I'm pleased to announce that the 2017 winner is Fragments by Antigone Kafala. Thank you. Antigone Kafala is a highly regarded Australian poet, and Fragments is her first collection in almost 20 years. Congratulations, Antigone. And accepting the award tonight, and on behalf of Antigone Kafala, is Ms. Jackie Cooper. So please come to the stage, Jackie.
Thank you on behalf of Antigone. We'll get the photo. I'll just put it up there for you. I'm not Antigone, but I'd like to read her words. She says, I should like to thank the State Library of Queensland and the judges for giving me the Judith WRIGHT CALANTHE Poetry Award. My other thanks go to Iva Indic of Giramondo Publishing, who for many years has been a champion of my work, a continuous advocate, expending a lot of energy, friendship and effort to make it a part of the Australian literary scene. A difficult task in an environment not friendly to writers of my generation, born out of Australia. Yet again, I should like to say how pleased I am to have won the Judith WRIGHT Award, her work a fundamental part of Australian poetry. And I just want to add a couple of sentences, and I'd like to say on behalf of Iva Indic how thrilled all those associated with Antigone are that her achievement, which is unique in Australian literature, has been recognised by an award as prestigious as the Judith WRIGHT CALANTHE Award. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you. The next award for tonight is the Emerging Queensland Writer Unpublished Manuscript Award. Along with the prize money, the winner of this award receives a publishing contract with the University of Queensland Press. So I'm delighted to announce that the winner of the 2017 Emerging Queensland Writer Award is Janet Lee for her historical novel, The Killing of Louisa. The judges said the killing of Louisa follows the tradition of Hannah Kent's burial rites and Margaret Atwood's alias Grace, with one woman unfairly sent to death by men in the judiciary. This novel provides a creative reimagining of colonial Australia, rich with historical detail and high drama. So something to look forward to reading, I'm sure. So please join me in congratulating Janet Lee.
So excited. Thank you to the Queensland Literary Awards, the Queensland State Library, the University of Queensland Press, and the Queensland Government. It's an absolute honour to win this award, and I am truly humbled that the judges chose my manuscript. I wrote The Killing of Louisa because the story of Louisa Collins has been written many times, but by those who took up the cause of this woman who was tried 4 times for the killing of her husbands and ultimately hung. But it had been written by papers, it had been written by courts, it had been written by other people. Like many women in history, Louisa plays almost a silent role in her own life. And so I went looking for Louisa's story, and I found it in dusty archive boxes and in the wonderful trove newspapers. Louisa whispered in my ear while I wrote. So this is her story. It's her response in a voice that I imagined for her, and I really do hope I do her justice. Did she murder her husbands? Well, you're just going to have to read the book to find out. I want to give a really big thank you to my family and to my many friends who are watching, and hopefully my sister in France as well. The supporters along the way are very important, particularly to my team Lee, Jessica and Christian, Hannah and Damon, Callum and Thomas. And also want to thank that one special person, Lionel, who gave me what Virginia Woolf said every writer needs, a room of my own in which to write. It's been a very big year. I submitted and was rewarded with my doctorate, and now to win this fabulous award. And it's only October. So don't ever let anybody say you can't, because you can. Thank you.
Congratulations, Antigone and Janet. And thank you to the State Librarian, Vicky McDonald, for presenting these awards. I would now like to invite Lucy Russell, Director, Copyright Agency Board, to present the unpublished Indigenous writer David UNAIPON Award. The University of Queensland Press established this award in 1988, and over the years, the David UNAIPON has brought some of our most treasured Indigenous voices to the reading public. Mine, hopefully, one day. Previous winners, look at me laughing at myself, what an idiot. Previous winners include Doris Pilkington, Garamara, Alan Van Nieven, Tara June Winch, and Samuel Wagan-Watson. Last year, Leslie and Tammy Williams went on to win the Premier's Award for a work of state significance for their book, Not Just Black and White, a conversation between mother and daughter. The support of the Copyright Agency Cultural Fund since 2013 has ensured the continuation of this important award. And I'm saying thanks, Lucy. So Lucy, yes, if you could make your way, please.
Okay, well, as you can see, it's my great pleasure to present the Unpublished Indigenous Writer David UNAIPON Award this evening. And congratulations to the 2 shortlisted finalists. So I have an envelope here. So everyone else has known the winner. I don't know the winner. So the winner of the Unpublished Indigenous Writer David UNAIPON Award is Lisa Fuller. Congratulations, Lisa. Oh, yes, thank you. Okay. Yes. We've got a pose for a photo. Yes, let's pose. Thank you.
How's going? Thank you so much, Lucy. I am beyond honoured. not just because of the great man that this award is named for, but because I've always been in awe of the David UNAIPON winners. And I never in a million years expected this. I'd like to thank the judges and the Queensland Literary Awards for this amazing opportunity. This manuscript came about through my master's project that I did back home with my mob, and 4 of my aunties in particular. I'm sad to say 3 of them aren't here to see this, but they're here in spirit, and I can't wait to give the first copy to Auntie Rosie. To all of my family, the ones who have made it all the way here and the ones hopefully watching at home, I love you, thank you, your support means everything. I need to thank my partner Ben and my mum Odette for helping me brainstorm ideas and just generally putting up with me and making sure I ate. I owe a lot to the Anne Edgeworth Trust for helping me get home to do the work in the first place. I really need to thank my supervisor, Tony Eaton. He's taught me so much about writing and self-editing, and he's always believed in me, and I've still got so much to learn. I owe a very big thanks to my writers group, Us Mob Writing, especially Auntie Kerry Reid Gilbert and Sam Faulkner. They've been fantastic sounding boards throughout. I also need to thank Kim Johnston, Ross Hamilton and Donna Hanson, who all read my work and gave me some really amazing feedback. And if you're getting the idea that I'm a bit of a feedback fiend, you're probably right. Luckily, I got a lot of great people that give me advice. And if I've forgotten anyone in the heat of the moment, I'm so sorry, but you know I love you, and I'm sure you can use this to guilt me for a copy later. Thank you.
Congratulations, Lisa. I have to say, very deadly to see you here with your mob as well. Because if I won that prize money, I'd be hiding for mine. Hey, you're going live today, they all know now. Next is a brand new award in 2017. And funnily enough, the last time I was here in this room was to film for an online digital publication a few years back, and this place was empty and it was just me and a camera and 2 people. Well, it's lovely to be here tonight. But that award is the QUT Digital Literature Award, which showcases innovation in storytelling. This award celebrates new directions in literary practice, and I invite Professor Mandy Thomas to present the inaugural QUT Digital Literature Award.
Thank you. I'm delighted to present the inaugural QUT Digital Literature Award. Congratulations to all the finalists shortlisted in this category. The winner of the QUT Digital Award is Jason Nelson with 9 Billion Branches.
Maybe you can read it there.
Well done.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I'll try to hold this straight and actually give a speech at the same time. A lot of people ask me, is digital literature the future of literature? And to be honest with you, my response is always, the future of literature is, well, literature. I mean, it doesn't matter what tools you use. I happen to use screens and code, sounds and game engines. I've even been experimenting with making digital poetry with drones, although my wife and I live near a military base, and I'm sort of wondering about the conversation you'll have with the military police when they say, why are you flying a drone over the base? And I'm like, to make digital poetry? And, you know, in all seriousness, I am ultra proud to be the first recipient of this award. And I want to briefly thank 3 groups. First, my forever talented wife, Alinta Krauth. She is my heart's home, my forever breath, and I love her without reservation. Second, the judges, QUT and the organizers of this award. You kids rock. Your taste is obviously very poor, but You still rock. And third, I want to thank the cultures and people who have lived on this land for tens of thousands of years. You can probably tell by my accent, I didn't grow up here. I grew up in Oklahoma. My mom lives in the land of the Shawnee tribe. My dad's ancestors have Choctaw blood. So I want to thank you for allowing me to create odd digital creatures in your home for the past 12 years. And lastly, to all of you here in this space, everywhere, all around us are stories and poems. You just have to find the right tools, whether digital, paper, your hands, a bit of your brain, cat, whatever. The right languages and text to reveal them. Vote yes.
Congratulations, Jason. It's funny how he's talking about that, because I was thinking before with Indigenous people, we've been telling stories for thousands and thousands of years, but it's only recently we started writing them. The next two awards are sponsored by, just a thought, sorry, just had to share it. The next two awards are sponsored by Griffith University. The first is the Griffith University Children's Book Award. I invite Professor Gerard Doherty, Dean of Arts, Education and Law, to present this award.
Thanks, Steve. It's my pleasure to present the Griffith University Children's Book Award. Congratulations to all the finalists shortlisted in this category. The winner of the Griffith University Children's Book Award is, for The Grand Genius Summer of Henry Hubler, Lisa Shanahan.
To the State Librarian, Vicky MacDonald, to the Honourable Minister, Leanne Enoch, to my fellow writers and illustrators, to Griffith University, to Professor Doherty, and to all the judges of the Queensland Literary Awards, and especially the judges of the Griffith University Children's Book Award, as 9-year-old Henry Hubler would say, holy gramoly. Hugest thanks for this wonderful honour. I count it as an immense privilege to receive this award for the Grand Genius Summer of Henry Hubler. To be honest, I was overwhelmed and bedazzled just to be on the short list in the company of so many writers and illustrators that I have loved and revered for years. I want to express my deepest thanks to the whole team at Allen & Unwin, and in particular my editors Erica Wagner and Hilary Reynolds, for their great vision and skill, for all the ways they helped Henry to be a better book. Massive thanks to the fantastic illustrator, Judy Watson, for her glorious illustrations, and to Deborah Bilson for her gorgeous design. To my agent of many past years, Barbara Mobbs, and to my current agent, Jane Novak, many thanks for all your wisdom and guidance. To the Year 2 kids from Colleton Public School in Sydney, thanks for smacking some sense into me regarding the true nature of courage. What you taught me shaped everything I did in this story about a sensitive, somewhat anxious boy learning what it means to be daring and brave in his summer holidays. Lastly, warmest thanks to my husband Kieran and to our 3 boys for all the laughter, encouragement and moments of insanity. And a zillion billion thanks, in particular, to my youngest son Rowan, who is here tonight, for being the original inspiration for the novel and for being Henry's champion from start to finish. This is for you, mate.
Congratulations, Lisa. The next category is the Griffith University Young Adult Book Award. Professor Doherty, could you please announce this year's winner as well?
It's also a real pleasure to present the Griffith University Young Adult Book Award. Congratulations again to all the finalists shortlisted in this category. So the winner of the Griffith University Young Adult Book Award is, For Words in Deep Blue, Kath Crowley. To accept the award on behalf of Kath, please welcome Anita Davison to the stage.
Kath is absolutely thrilled to receive the honour of this award and would have loved to have been here this evening, but she's travelling overseas at the moment. But she would like to thank the Queensland Literary Awards, Griffith University for sponsoring this particular award, sincerely thank the judges and congratulate the other fine authors on the shortlist. She's in wonderful company. What I would like to say on behalf of Claire Craig, Kath's publisher, and Pan Macmillan Australia, is that we are delighted that this exquisite book has been recognised in this way. And we're very proud to publish all Kath's books, but particularly this one. So on behalf of Kath, thank you so much for this award.
Congratulations, Anita, and thank you, Professor Doherty, or as I'd like to call it, Dean of Biggest Mob University Courses. The next two categories are sponsored by the University of Southern Queensland. The first is the University of Southern Queensland Short Story Collection STEELE Rudd Award. It is my pleasure to invite Professor Barbara De La Harpe, Executive Dean in the Faculty of Business, Education, Law and the Arts, to announce the winner. You're the biggest mob. Please welcome.
It's my pleasure to present the University of Southern Queensland Australian Short Story Collection STEELE Rudd Award. Congratulations to all the finalists shortlisted in this category. The winner of the University of Southern Queensland Australian Short Story Collection STEELE Rudd Award is, and the winner is Kyra Georgie for The Circle and the Equator. Here we go. To accept the award on behalf of Kyra, please welcome publisher Terry Ann White. Thank you, Terry Ann. Oh, you're in the photo. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
I humbly thank the traditional owners, past and present, for the privilege of visiting this beautiful country. Kyra is very sorry she can't be here tonight. She's in Berlin at the moment, but she sent me these words to share with you. Hello, everyone. Wow, this is really something, to have my work recognised by the literary community here, alongside some brilliant writers. Just a few thanks I want to put out there. I'm enormously grateful to the State Library of Queensland and to the STEELE Rudd judges. A little bit of affirmation goes a long way, but this prize feels like a whole lot of affirmation, so I promise I'll try to make it go even further. Thanks to the wonderful folks at UWA Publishing for their support of me and writers like me, for seeing something in the manuscript in the first place. To everyone else who supported the writing of these stories in some way, I think you already know I'm grateful, but I'll just add that I feel so lucky to have a small network of people who get it, who get why we do this. And I guess you all do too, and that's a wonderful thing. Thank you. And I just wanted to add a couple of words. We're a small and highly effective and networked community of writers and publishers in Perth, a long way from the East Coast and the centre of publishing in Australia. When we started the Dorothy Hewitt Award for an unpublished manuscript in 2015 and published the inaugural winner and highly commended manuscripts, I don't think also winning the Miles Franklin Literary Award and tonight the STEELE Rudd Award for those two books was in our sights. We couldn't be happier with this result, and we're so pleased for Kyra Georgie, a writer with an acute sense of how moments from history can serve as the basis for short stories of depth and complexity that invite us into the mess, the beauty, and the exhilaration of how humans live their lives and shape the global spaces we occupy. Short stories are still something of an endangered literary species in Australia, and so I honour the University of Southern Queensland STEELE Rudd Award, a long-standing annual prize for the work of identification and celebration of short story writers. Kyra Georgie joins a dazzlingly rich lineup of winners of the STEELE Rudd Award, and for a short moment of literary biography, she joins her mother, who was the winner in the 1990s with her first book, and that book was The House of Breathing by Gail Jones. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Terry Ann. Congratulations, Kyra. I just have to say, this woman here, here's a bit of trivia. She knew me like 20 years ago. The place I studied in Perth was like 20 metres away from her bookstore. And I'm so jealous of that woman because she had Michael Jackson in her bookstore. I ran down there screaming and shaking, but we were locked out. Professor De La Harve, would you now announce the winner of the University of Southern Queensland History Book Award?
It's my pleasure to present the University of Southern Queensland, History Book Award. Congratulations again to all of the finalists in this category. The winner of the University of Southern Queensland History Book Award is Rebe Taylor, Into the Heart of Tasmania.
Wow, it's quite beautiful up close. Yes, this is one of those moments that when you're sitting alone for several years, you dream of, so pinch myself, it's happening. Thank you to the University of Southern Queensland. Thank you to State Library Queensland, one of my favourite places in the world to be. It's a beautiful building. Thank you to the judges. Thank you all for being here tonight. It is such an honour, not just to win, but to be shortlisted alongside some really fine books. My thanks must go to MUP, Melbourne University Publishing. Louise Adler supported this book with such enthusiasm when it was just a proposal pitched in a meeting. Executive editor Sally Heath turned a manuscript into a book with elegant and pitch-perfect editing. And the whole team at MUP have done an amazing, terrific job in promoting and producing the book. My heartfelt thanks to the Tasmanian Aboriginal community. Jim Everett, Auntie Patsy Cameron, Clinton Mundy, Greg Learman have travelled with me, I think, over 10 years now. They have taught me, trusted me, opened their hearts and given me friendship. Their community have shown me the living heart of Tasmania. My thanks also to the many historians and archaeologists who have spent many hours teaching me, listening to me, supporting me. A key among them, Tom Griffiths, Rhys Jones, Mike Smith, Annie Bickford, Kate Derrian-Smith, Peter McPhee, Billy Griffiths, many more. Thank you to my partner, Peter. Without your support, I could not have sat in our converted garden shed for a year and a half without an income. And this is why awards like this are so important. They give not only prestige and honour and open new opportunities, they buy what writers really crave. You could fill in the dots there with various things, new shoes, a good bottle of whiskey, but really what they buy is time to write. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor De La Harpe, and congratulations, Reby. Bit of trivia, Michael Jackson has a sister named Reby. It's a sign of my connection to Michael Jackson. The next two awards are sponsored by the University of Queensland. The first is the University of Queensland Non-Fiction Book Award. I would like to invite Professor Fred D'Agostino, President of the Academic Board at University of Queensland, to present these awards.
It's my pleasure to present the University of Queensland Non-Fiction Book Award. Congratulations to all the finalists shortlisted in this category. The winner, I hope we don't have an envelope mishap. We don't, is Kathy McLennan for Salt Water.
Thank you very much. As I read through all the other non-fiction books shortlisted in various categories of the Queensland Literary Awards, all worthy books, one thought came to the foremost of my mind: how brave these books are, how brave the writers for taking such risks with their careers, their reputations, their lives, for publishing such important truths about the world in which we live. How brave the lawyers for passing the books through legals. These books, I would thank the lawyers, I suppose. These books are brave and they are important because bad things happen when good men say nothing. For example, Joan Isaacs with the heart-wrenching To Pray into Silence, and Matthew Condon with Little Fish Are Sweet have shown us that justice is inevitable. It may be slow, but it will come. Mary Rose McColl, who poured out her heart in For a Girl. Non-fiction books give us hope. They give us reading pleasure. They teach us something. With Saltwater, I decided that if I was going to write it, I was going to pour everything I had into it, to make the best book I possibly could, to give the children long-delayed justice by not only having their stories told, but to have them resonate and to have people truly invested in the futures of children. But I'm not sure that I ever really thought anyone would publish it. I had my first rejection at 17, my 20th at 18. Even when I won the Emerging Writer Award here in 2014, I still wasn't sure UQ Press would go ahead. But they did, and now I am thrilled and delighted and elated to win this award. Thank you, judges. Thank you, Queensland Literary Awards. Thank you, University of Queensland. Thank you to a very brave Madonna Duffy at UQ Press. Thank you to the barrister who took a very sensible and intelligent approach to the potential legal issues in this book. Thank you to my wonderful editor, Judith, Luke and Munson. Thank you, State Library. Thank you, Riley and Blake, for all the time I spent away from you. And most of all, thanks, Mum. Thank you.
Congratulations, Kathy. And now for the University of Queensland Fiction Book Award. Professor D'Agostino, am I saying that right, D'Agostino?
D'Agostino.
D'Agostino, cool. I just think because I'm dressed all flash, I don't want a sound thing, you know. Yes, could you please announce the winner?
It's my pleasure to present the University of Queensland Fiction Book Award. Congratulations to all the finalists, and the winner is Melissa Ashley, The Birdsman Wife.
Wow, what an honour. Thank you to the judges and congratulations to my fellow shortlisted authors. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the University of Queensland for supporting this fiction award. Thank you to UQ's School of Communication and Arts, where I took my PhD in creative writing and was given the resources to learn all about Elizabeth Gould's life. Thank you also to the University of Queensland for awarding me a scholarship so that I could actually afford to write this novel. Thanks to my generous and wise supervisors, Melissa Harper and Bronwyn Lee. I'd like to acknowledge Lynn Tranter of Australian Literary Management and thank her for believing in the manuscript from the very beginning. My thanks to Fiona Henderson, my editor, and so much more, for your guidance in publishing my first novel. Thanks to Martin Hughes, Kieran Rogers, Ruby Ashby-Orr, and Grace Breen of Affirm Press. You are perfect in every way. Thanks to the Coven, you know who you are, to my family, and to the bounty of incredible writers in Queensland. And also I'd like to say thanks to the people who help us bring our books to readers, bookshops, book clubs, libraries, radio stations, festivals. And lastly, I'd like to give my heartfelt thanks and gratitude to readers everywhere. Thank you.
Congratulations, Melissa. We now come to the Courier Mail's People Choice Queensland Book of the Year Award. The shortlist for this category is drawn from Queensland authored nominations across the fiction and non-fiction categories. Readers across Queensland got involved in judging this category and more than 1,000 people voted this year. Competition is always fierce and I understand this year was no different with the race to the finish. The finalists are The Birdman's Wife by Melissa Ashley, Vancouver by Nick Earls, Ghost Empire by Richard Fiddler, 100 Small Lessons by Ashley Hay, Barbed Wire and Cherry Blossoms by Miss Anita Heiss, To Pray and to Silence by Joan Isaacs, For a Girl by Mary Rose Mackle, and Saltwater by Kathy McLennan. I now invite Phil Brown, Arts Editor for the Courier Mail, to announce the final award this evening.
Evening all, we're nearly done. I must be getting on. I was in the room the day that Peter Beattie launched these awards, and it was very exciting. And I'm very pleased that they're still happening, that we're still here and that we're still doing this, so it's fantastic. And at the Courier Mail, we're glad to be part of it now, as we have been for a few years. And as you can see, it's a very strong list, short list that we had this year. And I believe it was very, very hotly contested. We don't give out those sorts of figures, but it was close. And I'm going to now announce the winner. And I'm assuming and I'm hoping that she might have another acceptance speech ready, because it's Saltwater by Kathy McLennan.
I'm not sure that I thought this was actually really going to happen. I have had the pleasure of reading the other books in the shortlist for this category, and I'm humbled to be the winner. People say that writing is a solitary pursuit, but in writing this book, I was never alone. When I was at the computer, I was back in the world I lived in when I was 22. I could clearly hear the voices, smell the frangipani, feel the touch of salt water on my skin. I laughed again at the same jokes, felt the same terrible frustration, and cried the same tears. The children I wrote about lived around me in my little office. This is their book as much as mine. I'm so proud to accept this award because it means that not only have people accepted me as a writer, they have accepted these little lives and made them mean something. Thank you so much to everyone for your support.
Congratulations again, Kathy. Could you please join me in congratulating all the winners tonight? Not just the winners, but the nominees, I think, as well. I would like to say a special thank you to the judges, whose hard work and careful consideration ensures the success of the Queensland Literary Awards. We are very grateful for everything you do. And thank you to the sponsors and partners who make the Queensland Literary Awards possible. Refreshments will now be served on the Queensland Terrace, so we get to mingle. And if anyone's wondering, yes, I'm single. And come up and yarn to me, if you like. But thanks again, everybody. I hope you had an awesome night.